Servers, when your customers demanded to be served after closing time. How did you respond? One day before we opened I came in and did not lock the door behind me as a coworker would be arriving. I just pulled the door shut, turned on computers and went in the back to take off coat, boil kettle etc. I heard the door rattle but after a few minutes my coworker hadn't said anything to me which was odd. So I went out, to the dark, obviously closed store to find a woman browsing. This was about 25 years ago, so I guess she was a pro to Karen as she was furious that I told her to get out. Well, if I'm in the store it's as good as being open, right? I assured her it wasn't as we and most stores in the mall didn't open for half an hour. Which is why she wanted to look around our store, to kill that time. I finally had to threaten to call security to get her to leave. I worked at a well-known coffee house chain, located in an entertainment venue. It was in a somewhat open area, with no doors or partitions, so we got stuck with people coming up to the bar a lot after closing. Outside of holidays, most people were generally cool with being told we were closed. One night while I was counting my drawer, a middle-aged woman, who looked at and passed our sign, came up to the bar. Out of customer service reflex, I politely said, "Hello, ma'am." She replied, "I'll have a warmed blueberry scone," before I could say anything else. I apologized and informed her that, unfortunately, we're closed. Her response? "Then why did you ask me?" "Ask you what?" I said, "Hello, and you didn't give me the chance to finish speaking. The place is dark, I watched you look right at a sign that says we're closed, and I'm counting my money." It had been a rough day and I was pretty done. So, I told her, as nicely as I possibly could, "I didn't ask you a question, I was being polite and saying, hello." She followed that up with a confused look and an, "Oh." Then she huffed away, muttering under her breath about how disrespectful people are. I may have laughed a little harder than I should have as she stalked off, but she never complained, so it's whatever. True story, 6 years ago, our lock was broken because of a customer who couldn't accept that we were closed. She pushed the door so hard that it broke the old lock. The new one is much more secure, but you have to have a key to lock from the outside and it doesn't unlock from the inside and relock when it closes. It's a whole shit show. I manage a restaurant and this summer our city had riots and looting. There was a curfew. At one point the riot was literally across the street from us, people smashing in store fronts and looting. When we heard they were heading our way we evacuated the staff, and were closing down when a guest showed up with his date, demanding to be served. He sent an angry text message about being kicked out of the restaurant and had never been so insulted in his life, to our owner. We close at 8 p.m. Doors are locked. Have heard everything from, "Well, you're still here." "Yes, Karen, it's 8:05 we are cleaning and getting ready for the next day when we will be open at 10 a.m. That's a stupid time to close." Yeah, if we stayed open till midnight and you came by at 12:05 a.m. you would still be whining. I'll give you a bad review. Thanks for the heads up. We will be waiting for it. There are a variety of places in our area, less than 5 minutes away, that close later. Fast food, pizza, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, German. I truly think these people dig their heels in because they are told no. These types are just wired differently, I will not be denied. Our kitchen closes at 8 p.m. on weeknights. I had a lady call at 8:30 asking if it was too late to order takeout. I apologized and said the kitchen had closed. She got mad and told me our internet page says 9 p.m. My manager was with me and checked while I had her on the phone. It clearly says our kitchen hours and bar hours separately. When I asked her if she was on our website, or Facebook page, she got mad and said she didn't know. I apologized and said we would look into it and she just gave me silence on her end like? There's nobody in the kitchen, lady, and I'm not cooking your shit. And hold up, why would you be asking if it was too late to order 30 minutes before our apparent closing time? This job kills me. I worked takeout at a small restaurant in my hometown for 14 years. The takeout counter was directly opposite the front door so I could see anyone coming to the door. One night we had closed at 10 as usual but we still had a few tables inside but no one at takeout so I was cleaning up. I saw a guy approach the front door a few minutes after we had closed. He tried the door only to find it locked. He tried again and I finally looked up and shook my head. He stood there, occasionally trying the door before pounding on the glass. I kept shaking my head to him and he stood outside for about another 15 minutes or so until he finally managed to grab the door as someone was leaving. He strolled in and before I could even say anything, informed me our front door was locked. I told him we were closed. He then asked if he could still order something. Due to COVID, our restaurant has modified hours. Most places open by 11, but we open at 11:30, just not enough business to justify the extra 30 minutes. Our hours are posted right there on the door that we are open from 11:30 to 9:30, but that does not stop people from opening door and expecting to be served usually after looking at the sign. We keep the door open just to allow staff to come in and out, but I have taken to logging the door as soon as the last staff member arrives. One day I see a guy walking up, and I begin to get excited cause I know he's going to ignore the sign. He tries to open the locked door, looks at the sign, at the door, at the sign, then begins pacing. A few minutes later the phone rings, I look outside and lo and behold, homeboy is on his phone looking at the store. Hello, this is redacted. So, I guess you guys are not open yet? That is what the sign you read says. Oh, I'm just gonna grab a seat in your patio. That's fine. Honestly, I hate that too. Grabbing outside seats before we're open. It screws up sections if more people sit in one section than the other, then they get all gripey cause table D who chose the table near the door was served before table C who has been here longer but just had to sit near the ambient fireplace with the rest of the twats.